Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, Shelby found out recently that she has autism.
Yeah.
So she's been doing a little bit of research. Her sister also has something. Is it autism or Asperger's? Or
Well, apparently they've combined them both into the same thing now. So
yeah. Going back 5-6 years ago, they were quite separate, but now it's one big, long spectrum.
Yeah.
So how do you feel it's affected you?
It really could. It affects how I communicate.
Yeah.
I've noticed when I speak to people, I don't say the things that I think in a way that makes sense to them, because I just think in different ways, I guess, or at least that's the way it comes across when I try to explain the ways my brain works, and other people kind of look at me and go, well, why not just do it this way? I go, that's just not how my brain works.
Yeah. So do you think you are more logical or creative in the way that you think?
A little bit of both. I tend to, what I think is logical to other people seems just really far-fetched.
Okay. If you were to, are you right-handed or left-handed?
Right-handed.
If you kick a ball, would you kick with the right or left foot?
Right, I think. Yeah, I think right.
Okay, and if you were to punch something, you do it with your right hand?
Yeah.
Okay, I might make sure that the logical and creative hemispheres of the brain are up and running. Have we done that before?
I think we touched on it.
Okay, so we might have another look at it, because it's one of the things that can be a bit askew with autism. And then we'll check some major integration points in the brain and see how they're communicating, since communication is one of the things. And if these little pathways in the brain aren't communicating as well as they should be, it can make every thought more challenged to get the words out from the thought.
Yeah. I also have a bit of a stutter that plays up sometimes, which doesn't really help with the whole communication thing.
Okay. And that's been all your life?
Yeah.
Interesting. Do you have any idea when it started or what the trauma might have been? For example, I've got a friend with a stutter, but his was because his big brothers took him into the backyard. There was a big lizard in the box, and they said to him, hey, there's a present in the box for you. And he opened up the box and this huge lizard jumped at him. His stutter started on that day, and he's now 70. He's still stuttering. So do you have any idea, like, has your mum ever thought that there might have been something?
She's never really found it anything to be worried about at all.
Yeah.
Because it's not a major part. It's not always there.
Yeah.
And when it is, usually it's not as noticeable as compared to people who struggle with it a little bit more severely.
So when's it most likely to come out? When you are speaking a truth that you think other people might not agree with, or when you are doing something like an oral exam, or when you are, like, when would it come out the most, do you think?
If it's words, an oral exam, I've rehearsed the words a million times, so it's less likely to come out.
So you're an overachiever?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay, cool. Good to know.
If it's something that I'm even remotely in my head about, it can come out. Sometimes it just comes out whenever it feels like it.
Okay, just for fun.
I think I stuttered over the word towel the other day, just because we were having a conversation about if we needed more towels.
That's so funny.
Okay. Yeah, so it just does what it wants mostly.
Yeah, okay. Cool. Have a lay down. So let's check out these little things. Okay. So just having chatted about it, I might just... Okay, let me ask if I can just go straight into the logical creative hemispheres of the brain. So I always just ask for a yes or a no, and because my brain oscillates in the way that it works, sometimes it's yes, sometimes anyway, so I always have to say, give me a yes, give me a no. Okay, so at the moment, a yes is a lock, just by the way. Okay, so do I need to do... No, I can go straight into the logical hemispheres and the... Okay, so the way we check this, pop 2 fingers behind your left ear on that little spot there. And hold up for me. Okay, so now I want you to think of the number 81, divide by 9, add 7.
I can't even divide by 9.
And hold. Okay, and now, do you have a good safe space, somewhere you go when you're happy and healthy and... Where's your favourite place to be at the moment?
I think the beach is probably up
there. The beach? Okay. So visualise the beach, and what is it you love about it?
The water.
The water. Okay, so just see yourself looking out at the water. And hold. Yeah. Okay, so that's the left hemisphere of the brain. Maths is a stress. Creative visualization is not, which means you've got Gestalt running the left side of the brain. Okay, so now, okay, so once again, go back to the beach. And now I want you to visualize a few things. So imagine running down the beach, feeling the sand between your toes. Imagine you and Tash, you know, throwing a beach ball to each other. Imagine running out into the surf on a healthy, beautiful, sunny day. And hold. Okay. Now imagine the number 64. Divide by 8 and add 7. Hold. Yeah. So there's no logic going on at the moment. Now, panic attacks can blow this, so anytime you have a panic attack, that can throw it. Growth spurts can throw it. How long have you...
I've not grown at all.
I was going to say, I'll bet it's been a while. So basically we need to add in some logic into somewhere in the brain. It actually doesn't matter whether we add it to the left or the right, but we would prefer it on the left. So we're going to now... Okay, so these little spots here tell me whether your body believes it is right dominant or left dominant, and unlock means it's not, and a lock means it is. So this here, and hold. Okay, so it doesn't think it's left dominant. High, it does think it's right dominant. So now I'm going to get you to make a between, so nice, and I want you to stare through the middle of it and bring them towards your eyes, and it should automatically go to one eye. So now try again. And so you need to blur your eyes so that only goes to one eye. That's really struggling, isn't it? So your body doesn't actually know whether it's right or left dominant with your eyesight. Okay, just out of curiosity, I'm going to check something with your auditory pathways. So I'm going to get you to close your eyes, and I want you to keep them closed and point to where you hear me click. Have a look at that one. Oh. Yeah, so you're pointing in the opposite direction. Okay. So there might just be something going on where your brain is taking, thinking communication. Anyway, that's just one. That's just one. So close your eyes again. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go on.
Yeah, close your eyes. Okay, so you're off to the left. This is central. Not too bad. You're in the general vicinity though. Closing again. Not too bad. In the general.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Not too bad. Okay, so they're all a little skew with. When I first had that done on me, Linda was clicking the further down here she got, the further up there I was pointing. So on the right side I was totally out of kilter with what? I was totally out of kilter. So that doesn't matter so much. The biggest problem is if we're clicking here and we're hearing there, because then that's dangerous crossing the road because you can hear from the opposite direction. So that's not too bad, but it can be helped a little bit. Okay. Because ear dominance is important as well. Yeah. Because we should hear on the opposite side of our... Anyway, so there's a whole ear dominance thing that may be going on as well. So let's go and correct the logical creative. And once again, panic attacks are a bugger because they can really mess with the pathways in the brain and then put the body back into switching. And if your body has decided it's not safe to be logical for some reason, or you need real creative thinking because if your brain is always about to get eaten by a tiger, you need to think creatively in life. So maybe your brain's gone, logic is not important, I need creativity here. There'll be a reason for it, so... and that's a whole different story. But let's go have a look. So we'll go check the switching. Hold. So that's survival switching. Because what we've got online as the goal is we've got the auditory stuff and we've got the double gestalt. So they're the two things we've got as our goal. So survival switching's okay. Hold. Deep survival's okay. Hold. Okay, so it's hidden deep survival. Let me check. Put your hand on your navel for me. Is there left-right switching going on? Is there top-bottom switching going on? Okay, so there's top-bottom switching. So the top and bottom of the brain aren't communicating again as well as they should. Just going to touch the tailbone for a sec. And hold. No, that's okay. So it's really top-bottom switching. Is there psychological reversal going on? Want, need, think, safe, believe, deserve, trust. Safety and trust. So for whatever reason, your brain is not safe to be logical. Interesting. And there will always be a reason, you know. It is safe to let go of this problem. Hold. It is safer to keep this problem. Hold. So we need to reverse that. I trust I can let go of this problem. Hold. I trust it's better to keep this problem. Hold. Okay. Okay, so that's psychological reversal. So now we need to go into the thalamus, because the thalamus decides whether or not we are going to think logically or creatively. GB 15. And hold. And hold out, yeah. So the thalamus is like a relay station in the brain. So it is to do with, it takes in everything we are seeing, hearing, thinking, feeling, and then it decides what functions in the brain to switch on and off. So when we're stressed, there's a whole bunch of stuff that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, so some people can lose their appetite, some people can not want to think and go for a run, some people will clean their house for 8 hours. People will, you know, do something that gives them some solution. And the brain's pretty good at going, no, don't even think about your stress, go do 3 hours of exercise. Or don't think about your stress, go write your book. Go do some creative writing. So there's real fear in underneath there that's driving your thalamus to make its decisions. Actually, I'll put in those coordinates again, make sure it feels nice and strong. And hold out. Beautiful. Oh, wow, okay. So I know we've done this before, or at least had a bit of a play at it before, but like I say, every time we have a panic attack, it can, you know, it will go back to what it knows really, really well. So this is linking in with really young. You're older than your sister?
Yeah.
By how much?
4 years.
Okay. So this is a pattern that was set up before 3 years. So really quite young then. But it's around that time when we're separating ourselves from our parents. You know, we're trying to, you know, we want to be let off the leash, but we want them to be there to protect us. It's all about protection and safety. And that's the little part of the brain that's getting stressed. So, you know, maybe you're in that little part of the world at the moment, you know, you've left home, you're living outside, you're doing all these things, you know, as a grown-up. Not always fun being a grown-up, just saying. Would be nice to just go home and be able to sleep anytime I wanted and have mum make my foods and make my bed, and wouldn't that be lovely? Probably drive me nuts after 2 weeks, but in the short term...
Good to dream about.
Good to dream about. Okay, so where do we need to go? Is there something else in the periventricular survival system? Yes, there is. It's usually not very much. Yeah, so the RAS again, so the reticular activating system. Yeah, okay, so it's noradrenaline and vigilance again. So that's the same pattern that has shown up, you know, several times with you. So it's one of your core patterns, you know. So as soon as your brain believes there's going to be long-term stress, not every time, but as soon as your brain believes there's going to be long-term stress, it whips into vigilance, you know, so keeping an eye out for the next thing to go wrong. Do you feel like more a half glass empty or a half glass full girl?
I try to be half glass full.
Yeah. But do you have to try?
Sometimes I do. Sometimes
okay.
It comes naturally. Sometimes I have to remind myself to try and think that way.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go and check those little integration points. So firstly, This one's called brokers. Hold out nice and strong. Okay. These are about the words that come out of your mouth. You can imagine that. Actually, can I get you to just move your mouth around? So I want you to activate the muscles of your mouth and relax. Because stuttering partly is about the muscles. So I'll just stack that in. Because brokers is about the words we speak, but it's also about the muscles of the mouth. So I had a lady yesterday with Parkinson's disease, and she could not speak a year ago. You would not have known that sitting here watching her yesterday. She's on a range of supplements and several drugs, and this machine that activates the front of her brain every night. And since she's been using this little doodad on her brain, she said it's been a miracle. Like, that's helped so much. Fear, threat, danger. So fear in speaking, what a concept. So once again, stuttering, maybe the stuttering is something energetically about speaking your mind or speaking your truth, or maybe something, Have you ever been in trouble for speaking your mind?
I've been worried that I would be.
Okay, right.
Because I'm my role kind of within my family, and most social situations I end up in has been to keep the peace. So therefore, my thoughts have to take a back seat to help keep everyone else in line.
Right. Not the best position to be in all the time, is it?
No.
Love your family. Yeah, hold out. I mean, let's face it, every family needs a peacekeeper, but at some stage you need to be able to speak your own truth as well. So now we've got that locking. Now the next one I'm going to do is Wernicke's. And hold out nice and strong, yeah. So this is the thoughts behind the words. Now, because we had gestalt on both sides of the brain, we've done the little thalamic correction that hopefully is sorting that out, but now we're actually hopefully got some more logic on that side of the brain. I haven't checked that yet, but hopefully with more logic on that side of the brain, then this is what it's doing, is helping the logical brokers up. So the logic behind the words we speak and the logical thoughts behind the words we speak. So the intent is to get the logical brokers area and the emotional creative emotional area talking to each other, and the logical Wernicke's area and the emotional creative Wernicke's area communicating. Once again, it's fear even having, so this is fear, threat, danger in relation to Wernicke's, which is about your thoughts. There is fear in relation to your thoughts.
I'm always scared of saying the wrong thing.
And isn't it funny, putting it into the bubble of autism? Maybe autism is just people who want to speak their bloody mind. Sorry, let's just say it. Yeah, you're the canaries. You want to speak your truth. Hold out for me. Beautiful. You're not as suppressed as other people. Well, but that's what we need to activate, your ability to speak freely. Yeah. And happily, So let's check the auditory integration points. And hold out for me. Yeah. So all of these little communication areas, and once again, so auditory integration, rip and lip. So these ones are to do with your left integrative points and your right, no they're not, auditory integration. It's to do with how you hear, what you think, and what you're saying to yourself. And you're saying, shut up, don't speak your truth, don't say it's not your turn. And your inner brain is going, when's it my turn? So yeah, fear, threat, danger. Fear, threat, danger. Goodness. And again, hold. Beautiful. And the next one, rip and lip. And hold. Okay, so fear, threat, danger. So rip and lip, sorry. Off on my own little... Okay, so rip and lip, that's the left integrative point and right integrative point. They are to do with... It's a big one. It's all your incoming and outgoing, short-term memory and long-term memory, and where you put all that information in your brain. So it's all your visual and auditory memories, all your emotional memories, all your kinesthetic, your touch memories, and where we put them. And when we're trying to access those memories, how we actually get them. It's a fairly important part of the brain.
Yeah.
And hold. Beautiful. So now let's go to the Gestalt side of the brain. Just put in all 4 of those integration points and hold. And that's a pain and punishment circuit that's disconnected that. When someone says no to you, are you the little mouse who then goes and hides and goes, oh my gosh, I must be in trouble?
Yes.
Yeah. So this happened really young where a no was said and it really messed with your self-confidence. There's it's not a bad idea to spend a few minutes every day. First, the gratitude journal, have you heard that sort of concept? So every night just writing a few things that you're grateful for. They've done some research and showed that just by doing it for a month, it increases our happiness for 6 months afterwards. It's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
So that sort of thing can be really powerful. Another thing is, if you have a thought of a painful memory, and you might not even think it's a painful memory, but you might even think, oh yeah, that's right, my auntie June, she got mad at me when I was 5, and as soon as you think about it, you feel stressed or angry or sad or something. There's still an emotional charge to it. So what you can do as an adult is re-visualize that, but you come in and protect yourself. So you imagine little Shelby with your Auntie June or whoever, and then you come in and say, hang on, she's 3 years old, give her a break, she's not doing anything wrong. And it starts to change because your brain doesn't know the difference between what's real and imagined. So if you visualize a new process, your brain starts to believe it. So if little Shelby starts to believe that big Shelby's always going to be there to help her out, little Shelby will start, letting go of some of that trauma, which tends to be in all of us. And sorry for making you nod so much. And hold. Beautiful. So that was all the Gestalties. Recheck those and hold. Beautiful. And then these. And hold. Okay, so they're all the logical ones not communicating to each other. So what we did first was check the left to right of the Broca's, Wernicke's auditory integration points and ribbon lip. And now we're checking the logical ones and the creative ones. And that's fear, threat, danger again. So fear, thinking logically. We'll have to have a think about why that's not it. Maybe your brain has just done it to death. Being that person in your family who has to come up with solutions and be the peacemaker, your brain might think, let me be emotional for it. Maybe it's gone, no more logic. Time for me. Maybe. And hold. Yay! Okay. So we might actually do a follow-up on that, fairly soon, because to make sure that they hold and to make sure the logical and creative hemispheres of the brain hold. But pay attention throughout the week to things like whether or not your body's doing everything right-handed. For example, if you're listening to someone, do you listen with your head tilted with your right ear or tilted with your left ear? So that'll let you know which ear dominant you are. Yeah. Sometimes when we're looking at something, you might sort of, cock your head a little bit and look at it with one side. So just have a bit of a play around with what you think your dominance is and see whether it's, always the right or whether there's a little bit of confusion going on. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm just sort of curious. Cool. Thank you, Shelby.
That's all right.
Hope you all enjoyed that.